Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is a tutorial on how to make this beautiful dress that I made for my Christmas party at work. Yeah, so if you want to know how I made it, then keep on watching. So the materials you're going to need are, you're going to need your ruler set, and you're going to need this pattern that I made it in my last video. It's a tube top bustier pattern, and that is what I used for this dress. So if you want to know how I made this so that you can follow the tutorial, then I'm going to leave the link down below in the description box so that you can go check that out and draft your own pattern as well. And then for the Ankara, I chose an Ankara with Christmas colors, just to complete the whole Christmas vibes. And you're going to need lining, you're going to need gum stay, and you're going to need your scissors and your tape roll. And let's start the tutorial. So the first thing that you want to do is that you want to divide your fabric into 4 layers, and then after you've done that, then you're going to want to get your hip measurement. And what you're going to want to do is that you want to remove 1 inch, because as you can see from the pattern, if you went to watch the pattern, if you saw the way I did it in the pattern in the last video, you would see that I extended the length of the dress from my hip so that the flare could start a little bit below my hip, because that's what I wanted it to be. Yeah, so what you need to do is that you want to remove 4 inches from your hip measurement. My hip measurement was 40 inches, so 40 minus 4, that gave me 36, and then 36 divided by 4 is 9. So just keep that in mind, because we're going to come back to that later. So after you've done that, you want to get the middle point of your fabric. As you've divided it into half, you want to get the middle point. And in order for you to do that, all you just need to do is just measure from the top to the bottom of the fabric, as you can see, as I'm doing now. And then once you get the full measurements of the line, then you know where to stop. So as you can see, that was 24, so I just marked 12. So after you've gotten the middle point for the top and the bottom, then you're going to want to draw a straight line. So then we got 9 inches. I got 9 inches when I removed 4 inches from my hip and I divided it by 4. So you're just going to want to get 9 inches. So what you want to do is you want to divide 9 inches by 2, and then what you get is what you're going to stop at, that middle point. So the half of 9 is 4.5, right? So I want 4.5 to stop at that line. Do you understand? So then after I put 4.5 on that line, then at the other side I'll mark 9, and then at the other side I'll mark where the tape rule stops. I hope that was clear. And then you're going to want to mark the length of this skirt panel. So I made mine, I just made it from my hip to my floor measurement. And then after that, once you do that, then you're going to want to come up 3 inches. And so want to come up 3 inches, as you can see that I did. And then after you do that, then you're going to want to get, so in order for you to get the flare that we have at the bottom, we're going to do 9, which is what we got when we divided by 4 and all of that. 9 times 2.5. So I didn't want it to be 2 flare, but if you want it to be very flare, then you could make it 3 or even 4, but I did 9 times 2.5. And then I'm just marking the way I did at the top too, you do it at the bottom as well. So as you can see, I'm just marking that measurement that I got. And then after I do that, then I'm going to make a straight line with it, just to make it defined and all of that. And then after I do that, I'm going to start connecting that middle point that we came up 3 inches from. I'm just going to connect it in a round kind of shape, as you can see that I'm doing, like so. And that is it for that. And then after we're done, we're just going to connect that line. As you can see, we'll connect it to the line on top. So as you can see, I traced out all the pattern pieces off camera because I didn't want the video to be too long. So all you just need to do, once you've drafted the pattern, you just need to just trace out all of the pieces. So there's this hack that I do when I want to make dresses that I have to use lining. All I just do is that when I'm cutting the fabric, I just place the lining on under, instead of cutting the fabric and then cutting the lining and like separately. I just cut them together, and that just saves time and just, you know, makes work easier. So yeah, that is what I did. And then I'm just cutting them out, cutting all the patterns out, and you know, yeah, that is that for that. So now we're on to the sleeve, which is the hand, and the dimensions for this was 20 by 12, which is 20 inches wide and 12 inches long. So that was what I used for the hand, and I cut 2 pieces for the left hand and the right hand. And then the next thing that I did was that I cut out 4 layers of gum stay and 4 layers of lining for the flare, so that, you know, I would have that to work with. And then that was the last thing, and we are done with all our pieces, and it is time to start sewing. So for you to start sewing the flare, you want to put your Ankara fabric on the ground first, and then you put your lining, and then you put your gum stay. So that is the way you want to layer it, so that you would be able to, you know, turn it over and the gum stay would be hidden. So as you can see, I'm just sewing only the bottom, because we're still going to, you know, join it at the sides and join it at the top. So no need to, you know, sew the top and sew the sides. All we just need to do is sew the bottom. So after I sew the bottom, as you can see, the lining has covered the gum stay, and you know, it's just the lining and the fabric that is showing, so that is good. So these are the pieces for the bustier. So as you can see, as I've layered them already, then I'm just folding them in and just, you know, pinning them together, so that, you know, I don't make any mistake about the way it's supposed to be. So I'm just, you know, pinning them together at the sides, and then we want to start sewing. So as you can see, I started from the right side, you know, I'm just starting from that part. Then I'm going to sew the other layer, as you can see, but then I'm not going to sew the front panel. I'm not going to sew the 2 front panels, because, you know, we want to put in the sleeve, because as you can see from the, you know, picture, there is a sleeve part, like the sleeve part enters into the, you know, bustier part. So I'm going to leave that part open, and then we're going to get back to that later. So now, as you can see, all we just need to do in order to get the sleeve is just, you know, sew a straight stitch with, you know, the stitch setting on the longest stitch, and then we're just going to sew straight down, and then we're going to gather it with our hands, and that is that for that. So then after you've done that, then you want to sandwich the sleeve, like the hand, into the thing. So as you can see, I'm just, you know, aligning it to make sure that it's aligned, and then you want to put it into the, you know, that place, and just sandwich it like that. You know, we can't do it like that, so we have to, you know, start from the bottom, and then we sew all the way to the top. Your time to do it, because that place can be a bit tricky, especially at that curve area. So you just have to, you know, maneuver your hand to just, you know, be able to like follow the curve, and make sure that you don't try to, you know, just sew straight. Make sure that you try to, you know, make sure that that curve is there, so that, you know, it would fit well on the body. And then after I was done with that, it was looking like this, and I just did it for the other side of the bustier, and I was done with that. So as you can see, I've joined all the flare pieces together, and then the next thing that I did was that I got my dress. So as you can see, I've already added this thing. So what I want to do now is that I want to shape the dress to make sure that it fits properly on my body. So as you can see, I'm just, you know, shaping it you know, making sure that it's my full measurement, it's my accurate measurement, so that when I put in the zipper, the dress would fit properly. So that is just what I'm doing. And then after I'm done with that, I'm just going to go and sew it like where I marked with the chalk. I'm going to sew it. And then, as you can see, because of the way the dress is, I have to, you know, that sleeve, I have to put it into that place as well. So as you can see, I'm just, you know, I just cut out, since we've already sewed straight before, then I just, you know, cut it out and just make sure that I left that hole, you know, and then I'm just, you know, putting it in so that it would look like this. And then yeah, so after I did that, after I got the hole and everything, then I just, you know, pinned that place together so that, you know, I could just sew straight, and then I was done with the sleeve. And then the next thing that I did was that I joined the fabric piece with the lining, and then I just sewed on the top part. I did not sew on the bottom part because, you know, I'm going to, you know, join it with the flare piece. And I also did not sew at the sides because I'm still going to put a zipper there. So as you can see, I've already pinned all of them together so that, you know, I don't make a mistake. So after I did that, it was looking like this. I just pressed it a little bit and it was looking like this. So the next thing that I did was that I sewed the zipper together. I sewed the zipper on the back panel. So I'm going to make a tutorial on how to sew a zipper very soon. And then after I was done with that, then the last step is just to, you know, join the top part with the bottom part. So all you need to do is that you have to make sure that the flare is facing the wrong side, and then you want to put in your dress in a way that it's the bottom part of the dress that would, you know, be at the top, and then, you know, you just pin them together with the right sides facing each other, as you can see, and then you just sew around that place, and then your dress is done. So this is how it turned out. I really love how it turned out. I mean, I love how all the pieces, you know, aligned with each other, like the way the circle is in the front, you know, the way it is at the back is just so beautiful. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you loved it, and I hope it was helpful to you. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.